Hi, it's Ella Badura, a certified high-performance coach and the author of best-selling books Stay in the Marriage or Let It Go. Today's topic is very controversial, very uncomfortable, and that's what makes me even more excited to talk about. We do not want to admit that it's us. We want to appear free of addictions, but are we? The most rampant disease on this planet and the greatest of all addiction is codependency. So let's back off the people who are addicted to both legal and illegal drugs, including alcohol, or people addicted to food, because we all struggle with our own battles in our own ways. This is all due to the fact that we feel empty and separated from God, from ourselves, and from others. And while addiction to drugs, including alcohol and food and such, is a very important topic to discuss, which I will, topic to understand and to heal from. And while those who are addicted need help to look into taking responsibility for it and not expecting other people to just to go with it, oh, well, it's who I am, just deal with it. However, this is not a topic of today's video. Today, I will discuss a very, very uncomfortable topic, something that we don't want to admit that we have problem with. We don't want to face it, myself included. I am going to talk about a far greater and more spread form of addiction, codependency. Just like every other addiction, it has the same genesis and the same definition. So let me just tell you the definition. It begins with feeling separated and disconnected from God, from ourselves, and from other people. And that creates the emptiness that we feel inside. That emptiness shows up as either anxiety or depression. And then emptiness has to be dealt with, right, in some ways. So if we are anxious, we are looking for ways to sedate ourselves. And if we feel depressed, we are looking to be stimulated. Either way, we think that our problem is solved by one of two ways: sedation or stimulation. So each one of us is reaching for something or somebody to fill up that emptiness, that void that we feel, so we no longer feel pain of it. The problem is that even if we are trying to reach for something, we are reaching outside of ourselves. And either we get ourselves sedated or stimulated, it still leaves us feeling empty on the inside. Nothing fills that emptiness. So we go out and we try to do it again and we do more of it. This is the madhouse definition of addiction and how it forms. As long as you are trying to fill your emptiness up that you feel inside with something synthetic, something that is outside of yourself, you are creating a cycle, a pattern, a distraction, an addiction. That's a vicious cycle. I feel empty, so I go out to fill my emptiness up. That leads me to feeling even more empty because it's not working. So I'm looking for other things or other people to fill me up even more. But nothing outside of me works. Nothing will ever work. Nothing from outside will ever fill that void, that emptiness. Now you understand how any addiction is created, including today's topic. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, not every one of us is reaching out for drugs, legal or illegal, or even for food. But each one of us is reaching out for relationships. And when we feel empty, the relationships that we create are codependent. More people are people dependent than any other addictions combined. And what does it mean to be people dependent? Well, it means this. I feel so empty inside, then I will meet you, another human being, to make me feel different than I feel inside. It would look like this. I feel down, you pick me up. I feel too hyper, you calm me down. You make me feel so wonderful. You make me feel like I belong. You make me feel something other than what is really going on inside of myself. But it also means that when you do not make me feel better, it is you to be blamed for. Do you see the codependency in this? It is not taking responsibility for ourselves and for the way that we feel, for our emptiness. It is reactive. We are not responsible for our own feelings. We react to someone else. Think about it this way. In the codependent relationships, we feel empty. So we start reacting to people, depending on people. People don't like us, or they are upset with us, or don't agree with us, and that makes us either depressed or anxious. And so we all become neurotic. We feel like we have to react somehow, fill that void somehow. We either become hyper anxious and try to fix everything because something feels off. The problem is we think that everyone and everything outside of us is off. So what's the cure for it? It is taking responsibility. So we are feeling off. We feel separated from others, from ourselves even, from God. We feel disconnected from answers, from solutions, even from our real feelings. Science and psychiatry thinks that they know the answer to solve codependency. And they look down on religion and they call it our mental aspirin. But even churches in which they talk about God, they are missing one piece. They are missing that part. And that is, we need to fill ourselves with presence of God, presence of love. From my previous video, you can see that God is equivalent to love, where I was saying, what would God do here? Or if you do not believe in God, what would love do here? And taking responsibility means looking for presence of me. Presence of God, of love in me. And that means that whatever is happening in my life, it means it is my doing. It is a reflection of my feelings inside. And that's when we start to wake up and to show up again. We become responsible, response-able, not reaction-able, responsible. You need to understand that there are only three types of relationships that you have in life. The first one is the relationship with God, spirit, something higher than you. The second is relationship with yourself. And the third relationship is with everyone and everything else outside of yourself, the outer world, your relationship with people, your relationship with your house, your relationship with your car, okay? The importance is from the first to the latter. How are you doing with those? How are you doing with relationships? Those three types of relationships in your life. In order for us to be free from all sorts of addictions, including the codependency addiction, we need all three of those types of relationships to be balanced. If you say, well, I love God and I like people, but I have a very, very low self-esteem, you're out of balance. When you say, I like people and I kind of like myself, but I don't believe in God, in greater power, you're out of balance. And when you say, I believe in God and I think I am a decent person, but other people are messed up, you are out of balance. In all those three scenarios, you are disconnected. My failure in not working on all three types of relationships creates a feeling of disconnection. which brings the emptiness, fear, anger, and we usually blame something or someone outside of ourselves. And that creates a codependency loop. And it's a karmic loop. You've done something to me. You made me feel bad. You've said this about me, or you've done something that upsets me. You just created a karma that will keep on coming back to you until you sit down with yourself, take responsibility, and solve it. Oh, here we go again. Another person treating me this way. Another person disrespecting me or abusing me. Another person that I can abuse because I feel so low. I need to inflict a pain onto another so I can feel better about myself. Well, do you? Of course not. I know people are often selfish and hurtful because they are disconnected, not broken, rather disconnected, separated. And they think that they will gain something by taking something away from us. But we know it doesn't work. So they are codependent now too, because they're in this cycle, believing that they have to take away from us so they gain something. But they cannot feel that void and emptiness either. Damn, I already took from you and I still did not fill myself up. I have to take more. And if we react to that, if we get roped in, if we jump in, if we take the hook, now we are in the same codependency loop with them. We are part of that. And we only react when we are off our center, when we forgot who we are. If you really knew who you were, the truth is, it would never bother you in the first place. You may think now, okay, I understand that. I understand that I have to be responsible for my own feelings and that it has nothing to do with another person doing or not doing something to or for me. Okay, I also understand that I have to have a balanced connection with all three types of relationship. Well, how do I do that? Well, it's easy. You have 3 relationships, right? With God, with self, and with others. So how do you fix your relationship with God? How do you have connection with God? Easy. Through communion. And that is regular prayer or meditation or both. You can say something like, Dear God, please remind me who I am. Please remind me of my value. Show me my lovability. Show me how to stop depending on other people to heal me, to make me feel better, to rescue me from my own emptiness. Let me remember who I am. Guide me. And how do you make connection with yourself? How do you fix relationship with yourself? Through consistent and daily, but not obsessive, self-healing. And how does it look like? Well, it looks like what I already mentioned, taking responsibility, not being afraid or intimidated to look at yourself. People are afraid of their own shadow in their heads, their low self-esteem. We think that we are somehow inherently flawed, messed up, unlovable because of our selfish or hurtful behavior. But we aren't. If we really look deep into ourselves, we will discover that whatever wrong we have ever done without love, it was only because we were afraid. This is the time to make amends and apologize, recognize, accept, understand, and admit to your part. The truth is that if we truly knew who we are, we would have never acted in a hurtful way. And if another person hurts us, well, punishing them will not help them. Saying, oh, you just wait, karma's a bitch. Or, you will come back in another life and you will pay for it. That will not help. There's only one solution. If you don't know, If you forgot who you are, there is only one solution. Remember who you are. And if others can't seem to remember, you can remember for them. And that is through forgiveness. Not fine, I'll forgive you. It's not heartfelt. No. It's more like, I will forgive you for hurting me because you forgot who you are. So I'm going to release you to remember it. And the second part of connecting with ourselves is creating healthy boundaries. I have written a lot about boundaries in my book, and I have given wonderful research and explanations in quite a few chapters. But I have missed explaining to you that boundaries are not walls that you put up around yourself to keep people away from yourself so then you can feel safer, right? Safest from them hurting you by doing or saying or not doing, not saying things that make you feel worse. Boundaries are spiritual force field. It's something that you use towards others, but it's birth within ourselves. So let's say others are throwing you a hook. They want you to react. Don't take that hook. Don't take that bite. You excuse yourself to think on it. First, ask yourself, what are they trying to trigger in me? What does it bring up in me? What kind of fear do I fear right now? Cry, scream, pray, counsel, go to 12-step program, work on it. And then go within and have a meditative communion with God. So this is what's happening, God. They did this, triggered that in me. I recognize that I fear this. Let me feel your presence, God. Let me feel your love for me and for that person. Guide me. Let me feel your peace. Here I am. I am about to have a conversation. What will be the healthiest way to communicate with them? I need to remember what works and what doesn't work for me. Then go back out to them and respond with boundaries. Again, boundaries are not walls that you put up around yourself and you keep everyone away to feel safest. Boundaries emit spiritual force field that is coming from you and keeps unwanted energies away. They are unable to penetrate this force field to get to you. The more you practice, the more centered you become. And at first, people will try to push your boundaries. They will not thank you for establishing them or enforcing them. They will not say, oh, it's so highly of you to do that. Thank you for showing me your values and your worth. Now, are you kidding yourself? No. They will jump at you with anger. They will be vengeful. They will be hating you. How dare you? You're so messed up. Who do you think you are? I am right here. I am righteous and you are the bad one. And so on. But you stand your ground. You don't get pulled into that match, into that fight. And then they will realize, how come we can't push your buttons anymore? How come you stopped reacting? And finally, how do I make connections with others? And it's through proper communication and through creating intimacy with them. How communication in a codependent relationship looks like? Well, let's say the hook that someone throws at you is your parents saying, after all we've done for you, how come you decided to choose a different career or move away from our town or not have children and things like that, okay? Or let's say that hook could be your boss or your other coworkers saying that if you don't triple effort at your work, they're going to fire you after 20 years of work. Or let's say that who could be people around you who are either treating you badly or engage in self-destructive behavior and expect you to just understand or maybe save them or react. So what do you do in that situation? You excuse yourself, you go to the bathroom and take a few minutes to yourself. You do what I described earlier, but in a shorter version, right? You take a stock of what is happening. How did they trigger you? You connect to God and you start feeling the peace. You gather the facts about what works for you and what doesn't, and you step out and you say, I am sorry that you feel that way. It makes me sad, and it sounds to me that I am not accepted or liked if I don't do as I'm told, or that, my hard work for over 20 years is worthless, or that I appear like someone who can be talked to or treated that way. It does not work for me. I need to be really true to myself. And I heard you, and I'm not trying to change you or what you think of me. And it sounded that you feel like separating, disowning, divorcing from me, whatever the case is, right? I'm really sad to see that, and I need to go and process it. But I am clear. This is what I'm going to do. And then you say what you're going to do. I want you to know this. This is where I'm at right now. You see that I didn't sound that threatening or defensive. And I spoke about me and I, and not you and what you said and what you think and what you make me feel. Do you see that? Go back and listen to it again. I sounded sincere and vulnerable. I held my ground. My communication was loving. And finally, how intimacy works. I am not speaking only about romantic intimacy in the form of sex, although that is included in your romantic partnerships. I am speaking of different depth of intimacy with other people. I'm speaking of affection, of eye contact, listening, showing that you care, showing, hey, I'm here with you. How are you, my child? How are you, my parent? How are you, my partner? How are you, my pet? And to top it off, you cannot have a healthy connection with others if you don't have the first two relationships healed, balanced through communion and responsibility. And this is why I said that out of the three relationships, the highest priority is with God, then self, then others. It does not mean that one is more important than the other. They all need working on to make that trinity balance. All right, did you like this video? If you did, and if it helped, and if you think that it's going to help someone, share this video with them. Click subscribe, click thumbs up, put your comments in the video, tell me what it helped you with, what it helped you realize, what was your favorite step. Also, you can go to my website at joyfulnewlife.com, where you can find more information about the programs that I'm doing, about the coaching. If you're interested in having my book for free, I have a link there where you can get the book for free. What else? That's all for today. I hope you will have a wonderful day. All right, bye.